Bigfoot Classified contains content that is graphic in nature, and listener discretion is advised. Bigfoot Classified relies largely on news documents, eyewitness accounts, press conferences, and interviews. Every episode is produced with respect to the victims, families, and communities involved. Some of the interviews, quotes, and broadcasts have been recreated. Numerous hours of research have been done regarding these stories. And if you have a theory, question, or feel that we've missed something, we encourage you to visit BigfootClassified.com. This is Bigfoot Classified.
In this episode of Bigfoot Classified Submitted Sightings, we're presenting a listener-submitted account produced directly from the email they sent in. You'll hear their words exactly as they shared them, bringing their experience to life. As you listen, remember, your stories are a vital part of this podcast. If you have an experience, a sighting, or a theory to share, visit BigfootClassified.com or call 878-SQUATCH or email us at info@mediasquatch.com. Your story could be the next one we feature. And now, this listener-submitted encounter.
Back in October 1983, when I was 11 years old, I had my first of several encounters. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it was a Saturday, and we were deer hunting. It was my second year doing so. This happened in the Sumter National Forest in Eerie, South Carolina. I can't recall the exact county. It was either Lawrence or Union County. I haven't been back since the mid-'80s, and my dad and uncles who knew the exact spot are all gone now, except for two uncles. Here's what happened. My dad and I went to one of his favorite areas in the Sumter National Forest, a place we called the Horse Trail for obvious reasons. It was named that. They had done some logging there, and there was a logging road where my dad had me sit for the morning hunt. It was cold, and I was bundled up in a heavy coat carrying an H&R single-shot 20 gauge with slugs. It was about an hour before daylight, and it was so dark that I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I was facing toward Highway 72. I think that's the highway, basically in the direction where we had parked. About 20 minutes after my dad left me, I could hear him assembling his old climbing stand and starting to climb. Once he settled in, I noticed how all the birds and crickets suddenly went quiet. I know a lot of birds are active at that time. I'd say it was around 5:30 a.m. when my eyes finally acclimated to the dark, and I could start to make out shapes. I happened to look to my right across the logging road just behind some small pines, and I saw a weird-looking figure about 8 feet tall standing just over 30 feet away. I turned my head to the left, thinking my eyes might be playing tricks on me, then slowly turned back around, and it was still there. Yes, there was a slight stench in the air. I had a flashlight in my hand, but I was too scared to lift it and shine it over there, afraid of what I might see. It never moved. It just stood there, watching me. It felt like a lifetime passed before it finally started getting light. I heard a noise to my left and turned to look, hoping it wasn't another one or a deer. But when I turned back around, it was gone. I didn't hear it leave, but as the morning went on, I kept my eyes wide open, listening, hoping it wouldn't come back. I never told my dad because he would have laughed at me. He was a non-believer. I did tell my brother, though, as he had a couple of encounters himself when he was younger. My brother is 11 years older than me, by the way. We hunted that area several more times before we left it for private land in another area, but I never saw it again. I grew up reading multiple books on Bigfoot and watched shows like In Search Of and The Legend of Boggy Creek. But I didn't let my mind play tricks on me that morning. The figure was around 8 feet tall with broad shoulders and a massive head. Yes, I could hear it breathing. It was that close. I did have another small encounter in an area several miles from there, a place where my brother had a strange encounter. I heard a tree being pushed over. It wasn't windy that evening, and it happened right at dark. Knowing about my brother's encounter, I got out of the tree as it got dark and quickly made my way to the trail to wait for my dad to pick me up. That was another 30 minutes or so before I saw his flashlight. I never went back to that spot again.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Bigfoot Classified. We want to hear your stories. Have you encountered Bigfoot, or do you have a wild Bigfoot conspiracy theory? Call us at 878-SQUATCH. That's 878-778-2824. And when prompted, say "story voicemail" and leave us a voicemail message. Your story might just be featured in an upcoming episode. And don't forget, subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. If you have a Bigfoot conspiracy to share, email us at info@mediasquatch.com with the subject Bigfoot Classified. Until next time, keep searching for the truth.